Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Desi from Clean Air Partnership, and with me on the call today is Akashanka from Clean Result. We are going to talk about affordable housing energy efficiency program. A little bit about us. Clean Air Partnership is an environmental charity that works to transform cities into more sustainable, resilient, and vibrant communities where resources are used efficiently, the air is clean to breathe, and greenhouse gas emissions are minimized. We are a Toronto-based organization, and we acknowledge that the land on which we operate is the traditional territories of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. In our effort to do a more meaningful land acknowledgement, we are sharing a short videos where we can learn something more about the Indigenous culture and life. So I will invite you to watch this 2-minute video of Tia Kennedy, who is the Indigenous rights activist in Canada, and she speaks about generational healing.
We grew up with a lot of health anxiety in my household because of things like not having access to clean water. And I remember there was one time I went to my friend's house and they had offered me a glass of water and then they took it from the tap. And my mom got really concerned about it. She had grown up in an environment where drinking from the tap was dangerous. And so in that instant, she feared for my life by drinking out of the kitchen sink. So I come from two First Nations communities from southwestern Ontario. One of them is Bikishquanon, which is Walpole Island First Nation, and Onyataaga Oneida Nation of the Thames. My grandmother passed away from cancer, and we suspect it happened from the chemical dumping that was constantly happening close to our First Nation and within the waterways. She died before the age of 40. Her sister died before the age of 30, and her other sister died before the age of 30. It just doesn't make sense how so much pollution can go into these waterways and take matriarchs from our community at such young ages. Currently, there's about 52 boil water advisories that are still in effect today across 33 First Nation communities in Canada. When we don't have access to things like clean water, it's really heartbreaking. To us, water is a medicine. When people cry, we collect those tears because it's a form of medicine to us. We live what's called Minopin, so the good life. It's to ensure that we protect food for the next 7 generations, and we're never taking more than we need. It's a huge part of who we are and our identity. Because we carry ancestral wisdom that we've held for thousands and thousands of years, you're really just doing a disservice to yourself by not including us into these conversations. As Anishinaabe and as Haudenosaunee people, we are responsible to be the caretakers of Mother Earth. As a future ancestor, I have a role and responsibility to fulfill, and that is taking care of myself and taking care of my community and taking care of the planet so that I can ensure that the next 7 generations will have a place to call home. My name is Tia Kennedy, and this is my brief but spectacular take on generational healing.
Thank you so much for watching with us. Very briefly, 2 of our tools, the Climate Policy Database tracks climate-related policies across Clean Air Council municipalities, which is 40 plus municipalities in Ontario. And the Climate Action Atlas tracks implemented emission mitigation projects. This is across or beyond CAC because we wanted to feature some really good examples across Canada. I will share a link to those tools in the chat shortly, so you can take a look. Our upcoming events on February 28th, we are going to talk about equity and health equity and climate change. And on March 1st, we are going to have our Sustainable Fleet Working Group meeting. If you want to stay tuned for what is coming up, the best way is if you subscribe to our newsletter, and I'll share a link to that in the chat as well. But now, without further ado, I'm going to pass it to Akanksha from Clear Result.
Thank you, Desi. Hello, everyone. My name is Akanksha Sharma, and let me share my screen first. Okay. Yeah. Hello again. My name is Akanksha Sharma, and I am the Conservation Account Manager for Toronto region, representing Enbridge's Home Winterproofing Program and IESO's Energy Affordability Program. I'd like to take a moment to outline the webinar agenda for today. The first one being introduction. I will go over program overview, explain Clear Results' role in it. Second, I will talk about the appliances that are offered in these programs. Third, we will go over the eligibility criteria, who qualifies and how do you qualify. And later, we will go over program steps and processes, highlighting timelines for each step. Lastly, we will have a Q&A session for the group. Since this is an interactive demonstration, so I encourage everyone to ask questions as I move through the content. I will try my best to get through all of your questions at the end of this presentation. So if we run out of time, one of our representatives will get in touch with you to discuss further. All right. Now that we have gone over our agenda, let's talk about the good stuff. What our team here at Clear Result can do for you and the amazing resources available to you. First one being Energy Affordability Program, or as we call it, EAP program, comes under Save on Energy banner and is ran by IESO. This program is designed to save electricity. Next comes Home Winterproofing Program, also goes by HWP, is one of the Enbridge's many gas conservation programs designed to reduce natural gas emissions. Both the programs are co-delivered by Clear Result, and we service in majority of Ontario, including postal codes L, M, N, and P, except postal code K that is serviced by another service provider. So yeah, couple quick facts about these programs. As I mentioned, programs are designed to reduce electricity and gas consumptions. There is absolutely no cost to apply for these programs. Both the programs are co-delivered. Interested landlords or residents may apply for one or both if they are interested and qualified, of course. You don't have to be a homeowner to apply. Renters are also welcome. And most important one, these are income-based programs designed to help those most in need. We will touch base on this later in the presentation. Moving on. Now let's talk about the upgrades that are offered under the programs. On left-hand side, we have basic upgrades installed during the initial home visit. And on the right-hand side, we have comprehensive measures or upgrades that are delivered later based on evaluation by our QA/QC team. Under basic upgrades, we have light bulbs, aerators, shower heads, drying racks, power bars, and hot water tank installation. That's only offered for single or semi-detached home or townhouses. As you can see, we only have a tick mark under the house category. Under comprehensive upgrades, we have smart thermostats, Energy Star listed, fridges, freezers, dehumidifiers, window ACs, insulation work, draft proofing for only homes, of course, as there's only a tick mark under houses, and heat pumps, which are only offered for electrically heated townhomes, single or semi-detached homes. Heat pumps is the brand new measure that has been launched by EAP program in November 2023 and is up and running at the moment. So if you have any single detached, semi-detached row houses or townhomes, please get in touch with us so we could get you brand new heat pumps installed. Based on your facility portfolio, you'll be eligible to receive thermostats, insulation, and heat pumps. Similar to insulation and heat pumps, thermostats are also, for houses, we could just replace the existing electric baseboards with the thermostats, or if it's also gas heated, we can replace them with smart thermostats. But for apartment buildings, only if your space heating is electric, that's when you will be eligible to receive a programmable smart thermostats. So yeah, a couple things to keep in mind. Now, I would just take a moment to go over the slide. Please take a moment to go over the slide and feel free to put in your questions using the Q&A or the chat function. All right. Now that we have gone over the program offerings, let's talk about who can qualify. This slide highlights individual eligibility criteria. On the right-hand side, you may see the eligibility income threshold based on household size. So basically, if you are a family of 4, your household income before taxes should be around $90,643. And if you don't qualify based on income levels, then you must be on one of the given benefits program. So yeah, please, just skim through this slide, see if you or anybody you know qualifies, and we can help them get their new upgrades in their house. Also, please note that if you're representing an entire co-op and 80% of the residents do meet either one or combined eligibility criteria, we can bulk qualify the entire co-op. So yeah, I'm just gonna give you a moment to skim through this slide again and put in your questions accordingly. I just saw a question in the chat pop up. Somebody's asked, are heat pumps installed free of charge? Yes. So these heat pumps will be installed free of charge. There's absolutely no cost to participate. And we would send you a quotation based on which you can accept or decline, and we can just install the heat pumps in your townhomes or houses. Okay. Now here's how housing providers and co-ops can bulk qualify under the programs. If your property address is listed on the Ontario's Designated Housing Services Act, your address automatically qualifies to receive upgrades from these programs. This list can be found on the ontario.ca website under the Housing Services Act of 2011. So yeah, that's how you would bulk qualify. And if the address is not on the list and you are a nonprofit or a municipality that manages supportive housing or shelters, rural housing or First Nation housing, you are also automatically eligible for these program upgrades. Lastly, if you do not meet either of the above criteria, then as I mentioned on the previous slide, nonprofit co-ops can bulk qualify all their members based on the 80% rule I mentioned. So again, it could be blend of both income threshold and benefit programs. So if 80% of the residents meet that requirement, we can bulk qualify the entire co-op. And if you're in doubt, please feel free to give a call to one of our account managers and we will be happy to assist you. I will share our contact information towards the end of this presentation, so all of you have it handy. Okay, now here are the program steps. First being initial planning. That's just me sitting down with you and explaining about the programs, understanding your housing providers or co-ops portfolio, meaning number of townhomes, apartment buildings, number of units, overall age of building, stuff like that. And once you are interested in moving forward with the program, then we move on to step 2, which is in-house assessments. During this step, an assessor will go on site and install basic agreed measures. They would gather information regarding comprehensive measures to determine eligibility. One important note here, program does 1-for-1 replacements. So if you have an existing 12 cubic feet fridge, it will be replaced by a 12 cubic feet fridge. We cannot upsize it. And we provide white equipments. So if you have an existing white fridge, it would be replaced by a white fridge. We can't do silver steel or any other fancy color. Next step is upgrade eligibility, where our QA/QC team will review the data and let you know on the eligible measures. You may choose to either accept or decline the offer. At this stage, we will send you an offer email highlighting unit numbers and appliance model numbers that are eligible for receiving a new upgrade, along with their specification sheets. Once offer is accepted, our delivery agent will schedule a delivery date with you based on your preference. If the houses are eligible for insulation work, then that will also happen at this time. So yeah, I just covered step 4. Moving on to step 5. Step 5 is only for the houses that are eligible to receive heat pumps, and contractors will coordinate install dates at this point. And the last step being saving report, where we will be sending you a savings report highlighting electric and gas savings achieved from the project. So overall, we have 6 steps. For apartment buildings, we only go up until step 4. For houses, we would go until step 5. And again, savings report is a mandatory step for either apartment or homes. So depending on the portfolio. Okay, so yeah, this slide is just a visual representation. It's just an example of how the program works. On left-hand side, we have a townhouse property in which there are 73 townhomes, and we did 72 assessments. One of them might be a no-show or might have been missed. It took program 10 days to do these assessments, about 8 units per day. And they were eligible for 66 smart thermostats, 32 fridges, 14 freezers, so not bad. And right-hand sides, we have an apartment building, 86-unit apartment building, in which we did assessments in about 8 days, 11 units per day, which were eligible for 99 light bulbs, 74 fridges, 5 freezers. So getting 74 fridges in total of 86 units, I think that's a pretty good deal. So yeah. Okay. So on this slide, I've just listed some of the common concerns that might come up while delivering the program. First one being, if you don't want a specific measure to be installed, for example, you don't allow window ACs on your property or drying racks due to humidity concerns, you may always select or deselect the measures based on your property needs, and our team won't be installing those measures. Secondly, sometimes residents may not be interested. We understand that, and we might encounter some accessibility issues with some residents. So in this case, we can always skip those units or just reschedule them at a later date. We can coordinate the dates with the property manager. Next up, if property manager is busy balancing multiple properties, not a problem, happens all the time. In this case, we can always work on a schedule that works best for you and your team. We can complete the assessments or appliance deliveries in batches or whenever is feasible for you. Next, having concerns about on-site issues. We ensure the overall process goes as smoothly as possible, but in case an issue comes up on site, we do have tenant engagement teams to help us out and resolve any conflicts that happen on site. So bottom line, wherever possible, we will work with you to ensure the program meets your needs. I see that we are getting few questions and Diane's helping me answer them. So thank you, Diane. Okay, so on this slide, we just have highlighted some of the many program key benefits, including no cost to participate under these programs, reducing energy bills, and avoiding spending money in replacing faulty equipment, residents' comfort and increased affordability, building trust among residents and housing providers, increased water savings. So overall, win-win situation for everybody. On the right-hand side, as I promised, I have included regional account managers information based on your location. So if you need assistance determining energy savings opportunities, one of our account managers will be happy to help, both virtually and with site visits if feasible. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to any of us anytime by phone or email, and our team would be happy to assist you. In Central Region or L postal code, we have Antonio representing us. In Toronto region or M postal code, you will be talking to me. In Southwest region or N postal code, we have Andrew. And up north or P postal code, we do have Tarzia representing us. Now, coming to the end of the presentation, this is just your time to ask any questions. I'm just going to take a little breather. And Diane, if you just help me answer a few questions, I'll just have a couple of sips of water.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm typing all of the answers, right? Some of the answers right now, but as Akanksha takes a break, I can actually verbally answer all of them. So with regards to the first question, are only specific installers eligible to participate in installing the heat pumps? Right now, ClearResult has contractors who are specifically heat pump installers, and they are HVAC certified, who are contracted with us to do these installs. The second question, are the heat pumps only to replace the A-coil for a central air system, or does it include ductless systems? So for the heat pumps here, we're actually installing both duct and ductless systems. I can provide more of a further answer if you want to talk about this offline, but overview here is you provide both duct and ductless systems for heat pumps. The next question is, in step 2, are the home assessments provided by an EnerGuide professional? Excellent question. So what we have is different contractors, or what we call different auditors, who are also contracted with ClearResult, who are certified as an energy auditor and a resident energy auditor, and they will be conducting the home assessments in step 2. And then the next question is, how, if at all, does previous participation in either the Home Assistance Program or Affordability Program or Affordability Fund Trust affect a person's eligibility for the current program or their likelihood to qualify for certain measures? So the Home Assistance Program is actually the older quote-unquote version of the Energy Affordability Program. If you participated in the HAP a couple of years ago, you can still participate in the EAP program. We will go through the same screening process for the EAP program in terms of capturing your information. We can send in, and should you qualify based off of the income eligibility thresholds, or if you're still receiving benefits within the last 12 months, our auditors can come in to conduct that in-home assessment, and they'll collect data, just as in the Home Assistance Program. They'll be collecting data for our teams to review, and then we will advise whether or not you as the participant qualify for new upgrades, even though you participated previously in either HAP or AFT. The next question is this program only available in Ontario? Excellent question. So the Energy Affordability Program and Home Winterproofing Program are currently available just in Ontario right now. However, with that being said, there are similar programs in other provinces in Canada too. what is a time? Oh, yes. The next question is, what is a time frame for applying? Is there a deadline? As a starting point, do we reach out to our designated representative if we are interested? Great questions. What is a time frame for applying? You can apply anytime. If you are an individual who rents, owns, or leases like one residence, if you are applying as a tenant within a social housing community, you can apply, you can call in as well. There are some cases where your specific property that you're living in or the specific complex that you're living in actually bulk qualifies. So if we discover that that is the case, we will we will then connect with the site manager for that property, as well as the social housing community as a whole in that region. Is there a deadline? No, there is no deadline to participate or to apply. As a starting point, do we reach out to our designated representative if we are interested? You can do this one of two ways. One, you can reach out to your designated representative if you are interested in both programs. And then if you want to, secondly, you can also contact ClearResult as well and advise us that you are interested in the program. One of our members on the outreach social housing team will also get back to you and let you know whether or not the whole complex is eligible for replacement. If not, then we can direct you to the appropriate person for you to participate. And there is the next one is an extended warranty available to participants and or building owners who receive appliances or heat pumps? So when you participate in the program and your upgrades, such as your replacement refrigerator, is installed, that appliance has a 1-year manufacturer's warranty. If you want to purchase an extended warranty, that is available to you, but you will, as a participant, will need to contact the manufacturer yourself. ClearResult won't do that on your behalf, as once that appliance is installed in your household, it is you now own that appliance. So if you are interested in purchasing an extended warranty, you will contact the manufacturer or go online and you can purchase an extended warranty that way as well on the manufacturer's website. For building owners, if you want an extended warranty for building owned appliances, not tenant owned appliances, then you would do a similar process where you will contact the manufacturer as well. And then for heat pumps, there is also, I believe, an extended warranty available for you to purchase as well. Are there any concerns about long-term and or unexpected repair or maintenance costs upon the shoulders of low-income individuals who receive heat pumps, for example? That is an excellent question. With heat pumps being a new addition to the standard lineup of the Energy Affordability Program, so far from what we have seen already, there haven't been any unexpected repairs or maintenance costs once heat pumps are installed. If outside of heat pumps, if we're looking at appliances, there will be some cases. It's like any appliance that you do own. So for instance, if your own microwave isn't working, then you would call either the manufacturer if you own that microwave, or you would contact your landlord to get more assistance on that, on repairing that. And with regards to maintenance, repair maintenance costs, that is, from what I have seen, and assisted low-income individuals who are participating in the program, there aren't any repair or maintenance costs for that appliance if it is under warranty. It's a bit of a different situation if the appliance needs repair outside of the 1-year warranty. And just to kind of backtrack here, for the extended warranty, that would be an additional purchase and cost to the participant who participated in the program. I hope that answers that question. If not, please feel free to please feel free to type in your question in the webinar chat. And what are the short forms? NOA is notice of assessment, which is a document that you receive after you filed your taxes for that year. And then the next question is, some seniors are expressing hesitation and mistrust due to unscrupulous door-to-door salespeople. How do we overcome this when we promote the EAP and the new heat pumps offering? So first things first, with regards to Clear Results and EAP and HWP as a whole, we will never, ever, ever go door-to-door to promote this program. I understand the hesitation and of wanting to participate in the program because of unfortunate quote unquote scams that have occurred, which really taints the purpose and the mission for these programs to help low income individuals within Ontario. It's really, I think that right now the best thing to do is to advise the seniors and to educate them and advise them and to let them know that we do not offer door-to-door knocking with this program. We will never ever ask you for money or ask you to sign up for loans, for instance. This is a free program, and I think that needs to be emphasized to seniors. I did participate in a seniors presentation similar to this one in the Sudbury area, and they have this same the same question came up as well. I also want to add in that Enbridge and the ISO, as well as your own hydro bills, will also indicate that the Energy Affordability Program is a part of Enbridge or is a part of the ISO, and that it is being offered by your specific hydro company. Or even if you go on Enbridge's website and the ISO's website as well, they will provide more information with regards to the program as well. Are there plans to extend the heat pump offering to multi-res? Can heat pumps even be installed in high rises? Currently for heat pumps, we're only installing them in detached, semi-detached homes and townhouses. Currently, multi-unit buildings that are low-rise and high-rise are currently not a part of the criteria for the heat pump installation as of right now. Do you have printed brochures for the program that we can share at sustainability events? Yes, we do have printed brochures. Akanksha, we can potentially share this with the rest of the panelists, and then those brochures can be shared accordingly.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, perfect. And then Trevor's question, we are working with Enbridge to create a concierge service. How could Clear Result be incorporated? Oh, that's an excellent question. I love that there's a concierge service that's being kickstarted. That's wonderful. It is just for Trevor. Can you let me think about that, because I think that's a really excellent way to also minimize the amount of hesitation that people are expressing when it comes to the program, because it really helps to emphasize a united front with regards to the energy affordability program and the home winterproofing program. Trevor, I think we can talk about this offline. If you could actually reach out to Akanksha, we can definitely create some strategies in order for us to also collaborate with you and to really promote both of the programs, not just the home winterproofing program. And the last question is, what are the avenues by which the program is promoted? Is there a risk of over participation in the program, spending all the program budget quickly and resulting in a pause in the program? So for the first question, what are the avenues by which the program is promoted? Currently, the IESO and Enbridge have their own marketing schema. And essentially what the IESO is doing, for instance, is that they're sending out brochures, and then we have radio commercials as well. So various types of media platforms, as well as social media too, that the program is being promoted by our clients, IESO, as well as Enbridge. Is there a risk of over participation in the program, spending all the program budget quickly and resulting? Currently, no, there is no, in the foreseeable future, there is no, sorry, I'm so sorry, everyone, give me 1 second.
No problem.
There, I'm so sorry, Ron. I have a sick child at home today, so he is in the background. I do apologize. With regards to program spending, we won't be using up or drying up the well for the program budget. The EAP, formerly known as the Home Affordability Program, has been going on for quite some time, and because of the success of the program in combination with the home winterproofing program, there is no program budget that will be drying up in the foreseeable future. I hope that answers your question. And I think that's all of it.
You went like speed through all of them. Thank you so much, Diane, for answering all the questions.
No, these are really excellent questions.
Yeah, no, and I'm happy. That's why we are doing this meeting. I see that Patricia Lowe has her hand up. I don't know if that's by mistake, or would you like to ask your question verbally? I did allow you, like, you could unmute yourself if you want to ask your question verbally.
By mistake.
By mistake. Okay, no problem. No problem. There were just 2 more questions that happened during the registration. So I wanted to answer them as well in the short minutes that we have left. One is this program available to people who are looking to retrofit an existing older building so that they can provide affordable housing? So it's not yet an affordable housing unit.
That one is a really great question, because when we look at the criteria in order to be eligible for the program, it is you have to be income eligible based off of the table shown in the presentation, or you're receiving one of the benefits. And you're also part of the, you're listed as one of the primary utility account holders. So it's not necessarily the building itself, regardless of it being retrofitted. You have to meet those eligibility criteria first. And then we'll have an auditor come in to inspect and collect data for specific measures, what we call measures or items that can be potentially upgraded through the program. So just to kind of backtrack here, some of the measures, the comprehensive measures or comprehensive upgrades that we offer through the program are refrigerators, chest freezers, window mounted AC units, dehumidifiers, heat pumps, which is a new comprehensive upgrade that was added end of last year, and then insulation and draft proofing. It really depends on the data that is collected that we will then have to review, that we can then advise the participant on whether or not they are eligible for the upgrades to the program. So we think of it as a 2-step process. One, you have to meet eligibility criteria first, and then after the assessment has been conducted, we will then review that data to confirm whether or not you are eligible for the actual upgrades itself.
Right. Yeah, no, thanks. That answered the question. The other question that happened during registration also is, what educational efforts have you made to reach the eligible customers beyond this webinar? And how can municipalities help promote the program?
Excellent question. Akanksha, did you want to take this one, or I can take this one as well?
Sure. So just like this webinar, we are trying to make connections up north, so we could promote the programs there. And we have been able to get in touch with quite a few companies that are working closely with these municipalities. So, we could spread the word and they could spread the word to their folks. So yeah, it's a joint effort from us, from other sustainable organizations that I'm trying to get in touch with. So that's how we are trying to promote up north. And we did have a couple events in Thunder Bay or in Aurelia, where one of our representatives would go and represent the program itself and talk about it. So there's that. That's what we are trying at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So just in addition to what Akanksha had said, we do at Clear Results, specifically in our outreach department, we do have specific leaders in each region who will actually go in person. So even outside of these webinar events, to talk to social housing communities, nonprofits, co-ops as well, and municipalities to really gauge their interest in the program, because this is a wonderful program, especially for vulnerable communities in Ontario. And I say this with bias because this program is very, very near and dear to my heart. But even outside of webinars, we go on site. We love to make those human connections with other people who are interested in the program. We also go to trade shows and trade event shows, specifically events that are catered towards energy conservation and sustainability.
Right. No, thanks for that. I'll just add that we also that's why we are partnering in this, is because we tried as well to reach out to our network, and thanks everyone for who is joining us today. We will be sharing the presentations and the recordings. So if you think if you know someone else that may be interested, that's another way how you can share more about this program. I see that another question just came in. Have you encountered any landlord oppositions when attempting to install heat pumps in private rental housing?
With regards to the heat pump process, we have a very detailed process before we even install the heat pump itself. So we really sit down with any landlords, building owner, and managers to really ensure that they do want those heat pump installs. And after that, after engaging them in that conversation, we'll schedule what we call pre-inspection so that we can inspect the properties, ensure that everything is viable for those installs to occur. And then after those assessments, we sit down again with the building owner, manager, or landlord and discuss the possibilities of those installs. And then we go through a review process after those assessments have been conducted. So we show you what the models are to be installed in those properties. We give you some time to review that offer letter and those specification sheets for those heat pump models before you even go through with the install. If after reviewing the offer letter, for example, and you don't want to proceed with the installs, then that is okay. You're not like forced to install heat pumps should you not want to, even after assessments have been conducted.
Right. And how long it takes the whole process from the entire program from the start to end? So from the assessment to the end point of installing?
It really varies depending on which building owner manager we're working with and what the complex type is like. On average, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks, but with social housing specifically, it had such an exponential growth last year, so it can take up to 10 weeks after a connection has been made. Because we need to ensure that we have, for example, resources to schedule those assessments needed for that property and for those multiple complexes. We have to ensure that, we also talk to our installers behind the scenes as well to ensure that they have inventory in stock in order to deliver those replacements for that specific property. So it's normally, short answer, normally 6 to 8 weeks, up to 10 weeks.
Yeah. The next question is it's very good. How do you overcome the split incentive problem for a landlord who doesn't pay the electricity bill and likes the low maintenance and simplicity of existing electric resistance heaters?
I like that question a lot. That's a really great question. Um,
In this case, can renters, I mean, if they're eligible and they connect you, can they kind of like overcome the landlord? I guess not, because the landlord needs
They still
to
can.
approve.
They still can.
Yeah, so there's actually two different streams, what we call streams, in the income eligibility program. If there is a tenant who isn't really a part of the bulk delivery for a co-op property or for a not-for-profit social housing property, for example, they don't have to go through the social housing stream. They can actually participate on their own. The caveat here is that they have to get a consent form signed by their landlord to indicate that the landlord consents them to participate in the program and consents their landlord owned appliances to be replaced through the program. So tenants can go through an individual stream. However, they still need consent from their landlord to actually get those landlord owned appliances installed.
Right. And kind of like what I'm thinking for this is that it's actually would be beneficial for the landlord in long term, because if you have that heat pump installed, is there is like a tenant like a turnover, then I mean hopefully it's not actually increasing because that's the rent, because that's gonna have equity application. But generally there is benefit for the landlord in that case as well.
Exactly, yeah. And I see another question came in. I think it's connected to the same one potentially, but I mean, when an income eligible low income tenant applies for heat pump through EAP, but there is landlord opposition, is there any way to counter that? No. The unfortunate part is you would still have to ask your landlord for permission, consent to get that heat pump installed in the landlord owned property that you are renting.
Yeah. But with a bit more education on the landlord.
Exactly. And this is where we come in, right? Our leaders in the L, M, N, and P regions, we can come in and kind of have that conversation with the landlord and provide them with the education and the advantages of participating in the program and getting these comprehensive upgrades installed in that property.
Right. Yeah. We did book 45 minutes for this webinar. But anyway, it's very interesting, and I'm very happy for everyone that is participating. Also in the chat, there is a communication happening. We will wait a couple more minutes. Okay, more questions are coming. we can if Diane and Akanksha, you're okay, I'm okay to continue a little bit further to answer those questions. I think it's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So the next question here is, many townhomes with electric resistance heating are not owned by the tenants, but by the landlords. What is a sales pitch to the landlord to get them to want to take on the extra risk of using new heat pumps versus their old reliable electric resistance heaters? Quite frankly, I personally am a renter, and I have both a heat pump and electric baseboards in my unit. I did a bit of an experiment in the last 2 years where the first year I was here, I only used my electric baseboards to heat up my home. My hydro bill was astronomical, unfortunately. This year, I used my heat pump. I'm using a Daikin model, and I use that to heat up my unit. When I tell you the difference in my hydro bill from last year to this year was a 50% decrease, it's money saving. You're helping out your renters. Like, as a landlord, wouldn't you want to assist your tenants, especially with how the economy is going right now, where a lot of things are unfortunately very, very expensive? If one of the ways is providing comprehensive upgrade for your tenants to reduce their own electricity bills, I think it would be such a beneficial added item for everyone. Again, we do provide that education to the landlords, especially when we have sit downs with them, especially if they show some interest in the program as a whole. We do go through the comprehensive upgrades, like line item by line item. And from what I've seen so far, a lot of the landlords and the building owners that we have spoken to are all for the heat pumps, essentially. So we have yet to encounter one who doesn't really want one. But even then,
yeah, Diane, just to jump on this, because we are actually going to have a heat pump webinar coming up as well. And what we see, and just like a few hours ago, we also talked with residents that they just install heat pumps. Usually the resistance comes from the upfront cost. And in this case, when that barrier is removed, landlords are really less resistant to actually
yeah,
agree. So they're like more likely to agree when the barrier of upfront cost is
exactly
removed.
Yeah. We have this one complex where we've already installed heat pumps in 3 properties. He's just so willing to get these heat pumps because he has one himself, and he knows what the benefit is for his own residents in those 3 different properties. So it's, once you remove that financial barrier, it's smooth sailing from here, essentially. Yeah.
I guess this the second question here, it's kind of like beyond. So if the risk is not into the, or the kind of like the landlord is not that much worried about the upfront cost, but the maintenance risk associated with heat pumps. I think it's the same, and especially if it's a brand new, then this maintenance, it's going to be later. That I think it comes to education. So something that I'm just thinking of like a few resources that can be used, but the STEP program, and I can share them in the chat, and we also have heat pumps, and I believe like ClearResult, and so we can like give you a little bit of kind of like links, because I think it comes for like additional information that the landlord maybe need, but the maintenance is not that much different than what the previous system was. And the fact that it's going to be a new system, that means that it's going to be less likely to break that system. But I do see how it can be a resistance to anything new, right? Because we don't know. But there are more and more heat pumps are actually not new. It's just that now it's more wildly open. Heat pumps have been working for many years, mostly in the industry, in the industrial sites.
Yeah, absolutely. I see there's another question that came in. Will tenant bills increase significantly as a result of heat pump installation in the event they pay their own utilities? One thing to kind of pay attention to with regards to heat pumps is that, like myself, I can have both electric baseboards and a heat pump installed in the same unit. That's totally fine. And this comes with education as well. When you do have heat pumps, there are some cases where you'll be using both the heat pump and, for example, your electric baseboard. And this happens when it gets really cold outside. So there will be some cases where it becomes like negative 25 degrees Celsius outside, and then your home will need to use both systems. In that event, your tenant bill, because I did that this year as well, where I used both systems, your tenant bill won't be as low when you use just solely the heat pump measure, but it won't be as high when you just solely use your electric baseboard. There are some cases where you will have to use both systems, and in this case, you can actually program your heat pump to be constantly heating up your home to, for example, 21 degrees Celsius. If it gets too cold outside and it's negative 25 degrees, you can actually have your T-stat or your thermostat programmed to kick in at a certain temperature as well. So let's say it's going to come and kick in when your internal temperature goes down below to 20 degrees, even though your heat pump is programmed to continuously heat the home at 21 degrees. That is the only time your other system will be used. It's, again, this comes with education, and we would require like a different heat pump like webinar to get this kind of information out, because right now it does sound like a little bit of nonsense. But there are cases where you can use your heat pump and your own thermostat at the same time, depending on how cold it is outside, in order to heat up your home inside. Sorry, Akanksha, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it'll rarely happen in Toronto. It would most likely happen up north. So yeah, if you're situated there, then you might have to worry about this. But yeah, in GTA, we don't even have to worry about putting on both the appliances together. So yeah.
And I did share in the chat, as I said, we are having a heat pump webinar, so you can ask all of these questions. We'll have experts on that topic as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. And I think at this point, we are at the end. I mean, you can still ask the questions, but I think we did cover a lot. Thank you so much, Diane and Akanksha, for this presentation, for answering all the questions, for running this program. It is a great program, and I just would like to really support and we reach the right people so that they can benefit from it. And having said that, if you know, please share any of, I'm talking about the audience, if please share this recording and website and the information about it. And with that, we are finishing our webinar. Enjoy the rest of the day and have a good day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Desi. Take care.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Bye.
Bye.